Hi everyone, it's Monica from TaylorMade Cards for You. Well, I'm really excited to share the 12 new Distress Oxides that were recently released. So the 12 new colors are Candied Apple, you've got Abandoned Coral, Picked Raspberry, Seedless Preserves, Peacock Feathers, Lucky Clover, Frayed Burlap, Black Soot, Twisted Citron, Antique Linen, Salty Ocean, and finally, Wild Honey. Now, in a lot of the social media, I've seen a lot of people say that they're not going to get the Black Soot. So I'm going to say that Black Soot is the black sheep of the family. So today I thought I would show you a technique using your Black Soot Distress Oxide to create a shadow effect. Now, before the Black Soot Distress Oxide was released, I was able to actually produce this technique and these results using my Iced Spruce Distress Oxide along with my black archival ink, jet black archival ink. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the process that I was using before my Black Soot. Now this technique does work best if you're working with a silhouette stamp because again you're going to try to create a shadow effect. The stamp set that I'm working with today is from Stampers Anonymous and it's called Etc. And I love this this 15-cent stamp. It's really fun and it's very versatile. So to begin this technique, you're going to want to take your Distress Oxide. And again, I'm starting out with the Iced Spruce because this is what I was doing prior to the Black Soot being released. Now, if you've worked with Distress inks in the past, you know that you don't always get a nice, clean, crisp impression. But these Distress Oxides do allow you to get a crisp impression. And the reason for that is because they're a fusion of dye ink and pigment ink. So this allows you to get a nice clean impression. So after you stamped your initial imprint using your oxide, what I was doing before, I was coming in with black archival ink. Prior to actually stamping the second image, I would move my cardstock over to the left just a bit because I don't want my stamped image to be directly over the first impression. I want it to be slightly off because I am going towards a shadow effect. So simply by shifting my paper to the left just a bit, I am able to create the illusion of a shadow. And again, this worked really great with the black ink, archival ink, because the shadow I wanted to be a little bit more subtle and the Iced Spruce worked really well for that. So now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the same technique using the Black Soot Distress Oxide. And I'm hoping to be able to create the same results using the oxide. So again, my first impression was stamped using the Iced Spruce Distress Oxide. And using my Misty, I'm able to get a nice clean impression. And then I'm going to shift my paper a little bit to the right this time. And I'm going to ink up my cleaned stamp with Black Soot. Now again, you may need to stamp it a couple of times to get a dark impression. But as you can see, the results are pretty similar to the archival ink. Now I had such great results with this technique using the Iced Spruce, I thought I would try it with a more vibrant color. So using my Twisted Citron, I stamped the first impression using my Misty and my silhouette stamp. Again, you may want to stamp this a couple of times because you want to get a nice solid image. And then I cleaned off my stamp, shifted my paper a little bit to the left, and then I restamped it after inking up my stamp with my Black Soot. Now this may not be your typical shadow look, but I thought the vibrancy of the Twisted Citron looked like a neon effect. So now it looks like there's neon glowing behind your silhouette image. Now I did play around with some other colors, but I think you're beginning to get the idea. But before I leave you, I did want to show you one last result that I got using a larger sentiment stamp. Not only can you use this technique on the smaller stamps, but you can use it on the larger sentiment stamps as well as some of your images. So don't be afraid to play around and see what results you can get. And hopefully for some of you skeptics out there, I've given you at least something to think about with the purchasing of the Black Soot Distress Oxide. I do plan on providing more techniques and tips using these distressed oxides, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you head out. And leave me a comment, let me know what you thought about this video. Alright everyone, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.